The Galactic Council had explored thousands of planets. Most were safe, quiet, and ready for colonization. But there were a few that every explorer feared. Worlds that killed every visitor. Worlds where storms, beasts, and gravity itself fought against life. These were called Deathworlds. Class 15 was the highest danger level ever recorded. The planet's name was Erebos. From orbit, Erebos looked beautiful. Deep blue oceans, shining clouds, and green continents. But the readings told another story. Winds could tear steel apart. Oceans were full of acids. Even the ground produced electric storms. No alien race had ever survived there for long, yet the Galactic War Directorate wanted it. The planet was full of rare metals and ancient human-made relics. Reports said it was once home to a lost human colony centuries ago. So the Directorate sent an invasion fleet, 30 capital ships, thousands of landers, and over 1 million soldiers. They believed that technology could defeat nature. They had conquered many worlds before. Why not this one? The confident fleet commander Varun Tor stood inside the control deck of the flagship Ordnance. Around him floated glowing blue maps of Erebos. His officers waited for orders. "The atmosphere is violent," said one, "but our shields can handle it." "Ground sensors show large moving objects," said another. "Maybe storms. Maybe something alive." Varun smiled with confidence. "We will take the North Pole first," he said. "Then build a strong base. Within a week, Erebos will belong to us." The officers nodded. The plan sounded perfect. No one noticed that the ship's long-range drones were returning broken, their data full of static. First descent, the first landing wave began. Hundreds of dropships entered the clouds. The moment they touched the atmosphere, chaos started. Winds slammed against them like fists. Lightning ripped through shield fields. A red storm appeared from nowhere and swallowed an entire squadron. Pilots shouted on the comms, "Mayday! Controls failing. Systems offline!" Then silence. Only a few landers reached the ground. They sank into a strange black mud that bubbled with heat. Metal legs melted. The soldiers stepped out and their armor cracked under invisible pressure. The air was full of fine dust that cut like glass. Within minutes, most of the first wave was gone. From orbit, the fleet watched their green dots disappear one by one. The admirals didn't understand. Erebos wasn't just dangerous, it was alive. The planet reacted to every move they made like a body defending itself. The private crew, while the fleet struggled, another ship approached, a small freighter called Hawker, commanded by a human woman named Captain Lena Ahmad. She wasn't part of the military. She was a scavenger and explorer. Her crew were tough, practical people who had worked on harsh worlds before. They came to Erebos under a private contract to study the relics and maybe make a profit. When Lena saw the fleet burning in the clouds, she didn't panic. She simply said, "We'll find a way down where they can't." Her second officer frowned. "That's suicide." "Maybe," Lena said. "But humans don't give up easily." The Hawker entered through a calm zone under the storms, guided by luck and experience. It landed rough but alive near a giant black ridge. The crew quickly built shelter and began exploring. Unlike the soldiers, Lena's people moved slowly. They studied the planet's rhythms, the winds, the heat, even the strange light pulses in the air. They discovered that the storms followed patterns like breathing. One of the scientists, Dr. Imani Ortiz, took samples from the soil and plants. She found something shocking. "This planet isn't just reacting," she told Lena. "It's thinking. The ecosystem shares signals. It learns." Lena laughed softly. "So we're standing on a brain?" "In a way, yes," said Ortiz. "And it's learning from us." The Council's pride back in orbit, Admiral Lear Kor, was furious. He ordered a massive bombardment. "Burn the surface!" he shouted. No planet can resist orbital fire. The fleet obeyed. Dozens of beams lit the night side of Erebos. Land burned, oceans boiled, and lightning storms exploded in every direction. When the smoke cleared, the surface glowed like glass. The admirals cheered, but hours later, new storms appeared, stronger and stranger. The burned ground began to move. From the ashes rose forests of metal-like trees reflecting the fleet's energy beams. The more they fired, the stronger those trees became. The planet was absorbing the attacks, turning pain into defense. The admirals didn't know it yet, but their bombardment had taught the planet new tricks. Survival on the surface, on the ground. Lena's crew hid in a cave system during the bombardment. The heat nearly killed them, but they survived. When they came out, they saw the new forests, Ortiz whispered. It used our fire to grow. It's using energy as food. Lena looked at the glowing plants and said, "Then we'll feed it carefully. Let's learn how it eats." They began sending small drones to test how the environment reacted. If the drones moved too fast or produced too much heat, the planet attacked. But when they moved softly, leaving small electric pulses like signals of curiosity, the tendrils backed away. The crew realized Erebos wasn't evil. It was defensive. It had been attacked too many times, maybe even by old human colonists long ago. Lena decided to talk to it, not fight it. She attached sound emitters to the ground and played simple patterns of rhythm, beats, pauses, hums. After several hours, the storms above their camp grew quieter. "See?" she said with a grin. "It listens." Disaster for the fleet. Meanwhile, the fleet continued its invasion. The second wave landed on the equatorial plains. Massive walkers and tanks rolled across the dark soil. At first it seemed quiet. Then the ground opened beneath them. Vines thick as towers burst out, wrapping around the machines and pulling them down. The vines glowed with absorbed energy from the bombardment. Explosions filled the horizon. Soldiers screamed through the comms. "We're losing all units." From orbit, the commanders watched as half their army vanished. The planet seemed to swallow the invaders whole. Admiral Lyre slammed his fists on the table. "How can dirt fight back?" Commander Varin answered quietly. "Because it's not dirt, sir. It's a living weapon." The human advantage as the alien fleet fell apart. The small human crew on the surface continued learning. They found underground tunnels filled with ancient machines, maybe from the first human settlers who had tried to tame Erebos centuries ago. The machines were fused with roots and tendrils, half alive, half mechanical. Ortiz studied one of the devices. "This world remembers humans," she said. "Maybe it was ours once. Maybe it still recognizes us," Lena nodded. "Then maybe it will listen to us, not them." She sent a message to the Ordnance offering help. "Stop fighting," she said. "We can guide you to safety." The planet reacts to anger and energy. If you keep bombing it, you'll feed it. Admiral Lear ignored her. "We don't take orders from scavengers." Varun, however, hesitated. He had seen enough failure. He replied secretly, "Tell me what you've learned." Lena shared data showing how the storms moved in patterns, how small energy signals could calm them, and how human DNA somehow didn't trigger the planet's full defense. "Interesting," Varun said. "Humans are tolerated." "Not tolerated," Lena replied. "Accepted, if we show respect." The ocean awakens the next day. The fleet's mining ships approached Erebos' dark oceans. They wanted to extract minerals from under the water. When their drills started, the ocean responded with fury. The surface broke apart, releasing enormous black waves that shimmered with light. The waves weren't just water. They were alive, full of microscopic machines built by the planet itself. Those machines climbed the hulls, melted engines, and sent electric shocks through the fleet. Entire ships vanished beneath the glowing tides. "Retreat!" shouted Admiral Lear, but it was too late. The ocean had learned to destroy anything that touched it. In a single hour, 10 ships were gone. Varun watched in horror. "Sir, we are losing everything." Lear turned pale. "Impossible. We have the best technology in the galaxy," Varun whispered. "Technology means nothing if your enemy is a world that learns faster than you." Realization, as the fleet fell into panic, Varun looked down at Erebos again. He remembered the early reports, the broken drones, the warnings from Lena. He finally understood. "This planet is not our enemy," he said softly. "We are the invaders. We are the infection." No one answered. The bridge was silent except for the sound of static from destroyed ships. Far below, in the caves, Lena and her crew looked up at the sky full of falling fire. Ortiz asked, "Do you think they'll stop?" Lena sighed. "Not yet. They still believe power means control. But soon they'll realize what we already know." "And what's that?" "That you can't invade a living world," Lena said. "You can only learn to live with it or die trying." The commanders' fear back on the Ordnance, Varun gathered the surviving officers. Their faces were pale and tired. He pointed at the map. Half the fleet was gone. The other half couldn't get close to the surface. Every weapon they used made Erebos stronger. "We cannot win this war," Varun said quietly. Admiral Lear shouted, "We don't surrender." Varun didn't raise his voice. "Then we die." He turned the hologram toward them. A recording from Lena's last transmission showing humans walking safely among the planet's glowing forests. "See that?" he said. "They live because they adapted. They respected the planet. Maybe it remembers them. Maybe it protects them, but it hates us because we came with guns." The room went silent. No one dared to speak. For the first time in their long careers, the commanders felt something. The morning skies above Earth were dark red with smoke. Metal ships from the alien invasion fleet burned as they fell through the atmosphere, breaking apart like fireballs. The once proud invaders, the Karth Dominion, had finally understood what it meant to invade a Class 15 Deathworld, and it was too late to run. Commander Tivar stood on the bridge of his flagship Iron Wrath, trembling as the ship's systems screamed failure warnings. The radar showed thousands of small human ships rising from the surface, primitive by Karth standards yet deadly efficient. They were faster than predicted, more agile, and coordinated with terrifying precision. "Commander, our outer defense line is gone," shouted the sensor officer. "The humans, they're not even using warp drives, they're using projectile engines, but their acceleration is impossible." Tivar's hands clenched on the rail. "How can this be? They live on a death world. Their biology should not allow such progress." But the truth was already clear. Humanity had evolved in chaos, in storms, volcanoes, predators, and wars. Every challenge had shaped them. Every scar made them stronger. Now that strength was directed toward the Karth. On Earth's surface, Colonel Elena Ward watched the sky through her helmet's visor. The alien ships burned beautifully against the clouds. Around her, human soldiers moved with calm precision, guided by drones and AI support systems. "Target Omega Formation, moving north." "Low altitude," said her AI companion, ARI. "Recommend anti-orbital strike." Elena gave a grin. "Do it." Seconds later, from a hidden mountain base, a massive railgun fired. A glowing metal rod shot upward, invisible to radar, faster than sound. It hit one of the Karth carriers dead center, tearing it in half. The explosion shook the ground miles away. Elena watched as pieces of the enemy ship rained down. "You wanted to invade Earth," she muttered. "Now Earth bites back." Up in orbit, panic spread through the Karth fleet. Entire formations were vanishing, wiped out by strange attacks that sensors couldn't even detect. Tivar's second in command, an old veteran named Crayon, turned to him with shaking limbs. "Commander, these humans fight without hesitation. They do not ask for surrender, and they don't retreat. Even when they die, they still attack." Tivar stared at the screen. He saw small human ships crash directly into alien vessels, detonating with nuclear fire. It wasn't random, it was coordinated sacrifice. "No fear, no mercy. Who are these monsters?" Crane whispered. "They are not monsters," Tivar said quietly. "They are survivors." At that same moment, deep underground in a human command bunker, General Marcus Hale watched the battle through holographic projections. Every Karth movement was tracked, every weakness exploited. Around him, officers worked with silent focus. "The aliens underestimated us again," said one lieutenant. "They thought we'd surrender after orbital bombardment." Marcus shook his head. "They never studied us properly. They saw our planet's violence and thought it made us weak, but it made us ready." He tapped a holographic map showing dozens of hidden bases around the globe. "Execute Operation Graveyard." Minutes later, massive panels opened across continents. From deserts, oceans, and mountain ranges, Earth's hidden fleet emerged. Submarine warships rose from the sea, stealth jets from forests, space cannons from valleys. Each was a product of Earth's centuries of war, refined, silent, deadly. As they launched, the skies lit up with trails of fire. The Karth fleet tried to retreat, but they were trapped. Earth's gravity wells, satellite jammers, and electronic countermeasures made escape impossible. One by one, their ships began to fall. Commander Tivar realized the truth as he watched the tactical map collapse. There was no strategy left, only survival. His ship was bleeding fire, engines failing, crew screaming. He opened a transmission channel. "To all Dominion ships, retreat. Retreat to Orbit 7. But static filled the channel. A human voice replaced it, calm, cold, female. "This is Earth Command. There is no retreat for invaders of a death world." The transmission ended, leaving silence. Then came another voice, different, softer, almost pitying. "You wanted to test humanity," it said. "You found the wrong species." The transmission ended with coordinates for evacuation. It wasn't mercy. It was a warning. "Leave now or perish." On the bridge, Crane turned to Tavar. "Commander, they are offering us escape?" Tavar's gaze was distant. "No. They are giving us a chance to remember this day." He stared at Earth's surface, at the blue and green sphere below, scarred by war but still alive. "They could destroy us all right now, but they choose not to. They want us to carry their message." "What message?" "That this world is not to be touched." Below, Elena Ward's troops moved through the ruins of an alien outpost. The invaders had landed days earlier, confident and proud. Now their weapons lay in the dirt, useless. Human engineers studied the technology with curious eyes. "Ma'am," said a young soldier, "orders are to collect all alien tech for research." Elena nodded. "Do it. Maybe next time when they come back we'll already have their tricks." She looked up at the sky where human ships still hunted the last invaders. "But I don't think they'll ever come back." In orbit, Tavar's flagship limped away, engines barely holding. Behind him, the once mighty Karth fleet was shattered. Only a handful of ships remained, each marked, each wounded. As his planet disappeared into the distance, Tavar whispered the words none of his kind had ever spoken before. "We were fools." Crane turned toward him. "Commander?" "We called them primitive," Tavar said. "We called their world savage. But the truth is, they mastered their savagery. They turned their chaos into strength." He paused, staring at the flickering image of Earth on the view screen. "How could we invade a world that even nature fears?" Years later, in the outer systems, the story spread. The Deathworld incident became a forbidden legend. Empires whispered about it in fear. The Karth Dominion never recovered. Their fleets avoided all Class 10 and higher worlds after that. And among humans, life went on. They rebuilt their cities, salvaged alien wrecks, and advanced faster than ever. For them, the war was not just survival, it was evolution. General Marcus Hale stood at the window of the new orbital station, watching Earth rise behind him. "We told them to leave us alone," he said quietly. Elena Ward stood beside him. "Do you think they'll listen?" He smiled faintly. "They will. Fear is the best teacher."